Fezzi's got a big interview coming up with Bret Michaels. What are you going to ask him, Fez?
I have no clue.
Why don't you ask him this? Ask him if Bret really did screw Bret. And then ask what was it like in the dungeon in Calgary and see how that was going.
Okay, I think that's a different Bret. That's Bret Hart.
Whatever. He should know. He should know the answer to that stuff. All right, Fez, time for your interview. There he is from Calgary, Canada.
Hey, Bret Michaels.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Poison's latest CD, The Best of Poison, 20 Years of Rock, out in stores everywhere.
I'm excited.
Yeah, let me ask you this right off the bat.
Sure.
Do you get confused with Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels from the WWE often?
You know what? More than anybody, Shawn Michaels. I've over my entire career, we've kind of crossed paths in a few different places, and obviously I'm a big fan of wrestling. But yeah, Shawn Michaels quite a bit. Not necessarily confused, more like a brother of.
Is that where you took your name from? The two icons of the '90s of '90s wrestling?
Wouldn't they have had got it the other way? If I came before them, they probably the other way.
Yeah, I would wonder if I heard someone named Shawn Hart.
Yeah, probably Shawn Michaels. Yeah, Bret Michaels. Yeah, it could work. We could be brothers.
So you got the tour that's starting in June. All the Poison Boys back together again.
Yeah.
You excited to get back out on the road?
Yeah, we're all. Listen, it's for us. I love it. I love being on the road. As Poison, we've been out there every single year, just about. And even when CC was not with us and took a little sabbatical. Or they call it rehab nowadays. But when he was out for a little bit, we had another guitar player, Richie Kotzen, on Native Tongue in the mid-'90s, and then of course we went in and did Crack a Smile, and been out on the road almost every single year. Now about 2 years ago, 2004, we decided to go out and do a co-headline with Kiss, which was awesome for me. And then last year, Poison took off the road, and I went out solo on the Freedom of Sound tour. And then this year I really put a lot into this 20th anniversary because I'm totally pumped up for it.
Aren't you just asking for trouble taking CC back out on the road, though?
It's trouble. Well, of course, that's what makes it exciting. But I think after a couple weeks or a couple months, whatever it was, in L.A., he spent in L.A. County prison lockdown. He's pretty sober at this moment and quite crazy, but that's what makes it fun.
Have you checked him out on the Surreal Life, this latest edition?
You want to be honest with you, I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
But I'm anxious to see it. Now, I've heard from everybody that he looked great on it, that he was a calm CC, and I almost had to take a knee. I've never heard someone use CC and calm in the same sentence.
I know in the previews he's talking about, I'm a guy that likes to have a drink, and when I have a drink, there's trouble. So I didn't know that he was still cleaned up.
It was recent. He says on the show, apparently, what everyone wrote about is his first day out of rehab. He has to have someone drive him now. And apparently he had a little accident with the car and the substances.
Sure.
So his first day was on Surreal Life, and everyone said he looked good, he looked calm, it looked like he was getting it together, and I think that's, for me, I love the party. I love to have a great time. After the shows, I throw a great bus party, but I can also pull away from it. And I think with CC, he just was incapable of pulling away. I know we would have, on the Kiss tour just 2 years ago, we would have 2 or 3 days where he'd be up in a row just partying, and I don't know how anyone could do it.
Did any of the guys, CC, Ricky, or Bobby, have second thoughts about going back out on the road this time? Or was everybody on board?
No, everyone's on board. Like, for example, this is what's great, and I don't know how to ever take you to show you this, but if you ever came to the rehearsal hall with us, like Don did, the producer, this guy's done the Stones, Dylan, Garth Brooks, you name it, he's been with the biggest. He came in to do our new single, American Band, and I think what he had heard is nothing but horror stories, figuring one of us would be passed out, one of us, knocked out in the car, this whole thing.
You just have to assume, yeah.
And not that we haven't been in those situations, but the one thing we love to do is we love being around music gear and making music. And we got in there, and he said he went in an interview to say it was the most energy and one of the most exciting times because we're all really great friends with an occasional fist fight thrown in.
Talking with Bret Michaels, the new CD available everywhere, The Best of Poison, 20 Years of Rock, and you mentioned the new version of Grand Funk Railroad's We're an American Band. What made you pick that song?
Tell you the truth, straight truth, I wanted to do an original song. I sit around and write every single day. It's why I do a lot of the solo stuff. And I got to be straight honest, I would rather have done myself an original song. I think that would have been more exciting. But if we were going to do between Capitol and other band members to stop the interfeuding and fighting of what would have been the original song and go downhill before the tour started, we decided that American Band, if there's ever been a song that would sort of emphasize what we've done and been through, American Band would have been the best song for us to do. And we went in and just did a really energetic version of it, really exciting version of it.
You think this could start like a hairband revival in the country?
I don't know about hairband. I look more for Poison, that it would, as always, we've been out there and have been one of the few successful bands to stay in the arena our entire career in the amphitheaters. So hopefully for us, it just makes the fans excited. And listen, for the 80s bands or hair bands, I give them nothing but credit, because they're still out there playing music, still rocking. And when the whole industry turned on them, they kept their head up and went out and continued to play, whether they play the arenas or theaters or nightclubs. They're still out there making music, and I think that that's a testament to them, the fact they like making music.
Bret Michaels, let me ask you this. Who the hell keeps shooting at you? Hasn't your vehicle been shot at twice now?
Well, let me break that down. This is what... Now, this part of the conversation is kind of a funky area for me, because here's what happened. We were playing a show, a solo show, outside of Boston and Springfield, and the bus got shot at. Now, that was freaky and very surreal. For this reason, I'm sitting in the back of the bus. It's about a half hour before the show starts. There's people everywhere, and all of a sudden we just hear what sounded like two cracks, two loud guns. It sounds like a firecracker.
Right.
And the back window of the bus, I'm sitting back there, getting ready to go, and all of a sudden it just goes, and the whole thing just cracked, and I'm like, I thought someone maybe threw a beer bottle. I wasn't sure what the sound was. I heard a truck speed away, and next thing I know, it's just mass confusion, and people screaming and yelling, and a girl and her husband, a woman and her husband saw what happened. The police came, and we did the best we could to try to look into it. Now, the police call, apparently if you shoot with anything under the size of a shotgun, whether it's a 22 or pellet or 25 caliber, it's called vandalism now. So as long as you don't die, it's just vandalism.
All right, that seems like a huge jump.
Yeah, however, if it hits you in the middle of the forehead and you're dead, that's now attempted murder or assault or something. But you got to think that the world has gone insane when getting shot at, no matter what it is, becomes vandalism. Well, then we were in Los Angeles doing the Adam Carolla show, and I pulled in to do the show, and the producer walked out, and I had heard the ping, so I thought maybe construction or rock, something like that, because we're on a whole different coast. It's 6 months later, and a nice size pellet hole in the side of my car, and on the driver's side back door, and it was pretty freaky. And the producer looked down, and his name was Tad. He goes, I don't know what's going on here, but this is kind of freaky. And we started talking about it, and inside the building, naturally. And it's very surreal, because I'm not a fearful person.
Right.
So what do you do? And let's go straight to this. What in life, you investigate, you do stuff, but what do you do with your life? You want to go out and do things. You want to go out and tour. You want to go out. So you hope it's just a random act of stupidity, and it was a couple people just taking a pot shot at anybody, and you pray that it's not necessarily someone stalking or venturing for you,
I know if it's me, I cancel the tour.
Yeah, you know what?
Did that thought run through your head?
Well, here's the thing. It obviously, you think about going, what do I do to protect myself? I didn't think about canceling as much as what you think about. You go, you're going to be out there in amphitheaters where people, it's fairly open out there, and although they have security, it can be pretty scary. My biggest fear is mostly because sometimes I have my daughters with me and my family, and that's a pretty freaky thought. I got really, to be straight with you, I got really mad. like what happened outside of Boston, I was pissed. I went on the radio. I said, "You tell this MNFer to come back here." I went insane. I was just, I really did. At first, I was kind of like, okay, that's weird, and then I got pissed off. And the guy that does our security, Big John, who's a great friend of mine, and also he's out with Kid Rock, is really good at looking into this stuff. And my cousin Bobby is a Vietnam vet who's also out with me. And you just do the best you can. That's it.
Now, let me ask you this. So they think that's the theory right now, that it's random acts, that it's not like, Skid Row or Whitesnake has some vendetta?
I would pray that if I would like to think it's not Skid Row or Great White with a vendetta, but you never know. Who's to say?
Sure. I'm
not laughing. I'm just laughing because it's about the only thing I can do. I would like to believe it's a random act, and it was just, luckily I wasn't at the receiving end of something more deadly or my kids, and we've taken it very seriously. I'm not laughing. We're doing everything we can to look into this, and hopefully the police will cooperate a little bit better with us, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, because I can imagine anyone who hates Bret Michaels or Poison.
I can't think of a soul.
Let me ask you this. You've had trouble in the past with videos getting on the internet, that sort of thing?
Rumor has it.
Sure. What advice would you give someone like Kid Rock or Scott Stapp that are finding themselves in the same exact position now?
You know what? The only thing you can do is if two things. It's twofold, if I may. May I break down to this?
Sure.
It goes into two situations. One, in Pamela and my situation, we had a security guy who made a copy of the tape, which is actually much scarier because you never see the tape missing. Had I saw the tape missing, I can immediately go into action. What they did is they took the tape, made a copy of it, put it back, never knew that it was missing. When it was all said and done, they waited till Tommy and Pamela's tape came out, and then they used that to go after it. The only thing you can do, and you got to do it immediately, is get a federal injunction. You got to go in if you really want it stopped. Pamela and I wanted it stopped. We both moved on. We had family, kids. We weren't together. If we were together, it makes a different situation. Tommy and her were together, so if someone sees them, who cares? It doesn't cause any funk within their family.
Right.
It causes a funk if every time you flip on the TV, it's you and another woman banging and your wife's watching it. Is either going to really piss them off or make them excited, and one of the two. And usually, though, no matter what happens, it causes a funk. And it was something we truly didn't want out there. And that's why Pamela and I went so far ahead to try to stop the thing, but still had an effect on their marriage.
Yeah, Kid Rock seemed a little bit more upset about it coming out than Scott Stapp did.
Yeah, I don't know about Scott's. I didn't hear about that one. I know with Kid Rock, and I know Big John, my guys out there with them. I know they're going to make an effort to stop it. You know what I mean? I just don't see that being his, even though he's kind of a really out there raunchy rock dude who I think is awesome. At the same time, I'm pretty sure that's probably not what he wants floating out in the marketplace.
And how's the diabetes going? Because I just got diagnosed myself.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Did you get one or two?
Two.
Yeah, see, I have juvenile diabetes, the type 1, and I've had it again since I've been 6, and it's been for the most part pretty good. In the last, I'd say about the last year, I've been having a little more trouble with it, and so just I'm going in as we speak. I go in tomorrow, and they're going to do a whole series of tests and everything to try to straighten it out, because as you get up there,
right?
And I hate to say, that's a tough word for me to say. Mentally, I still like to think I'm 21, but the rest of me is a little different, and as I go, I'm having a little bit of a tough time with it, so I'm going to go in there and do my best to straighten it out.
Well, good luck with that, bro.
Yeah, and you too, because let me tell you, type 2 is really scary, because as you get it, it's called onset diabetes, and as you get it, how old are you now? You mind me asking? You can give me any name. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just say, I listened to Poison.
Okay, perfect. So you're 21.
In high school.
21?
Right.
Okay, perfect. But as you get this, I just want to say to you on a sincere note, be extremely careful, because sometimes when you get it and it comes on like that, people don't take it as serious, because I take the 4 injections a day, so it forces me to have to kind of pay attention. And what happened with my grandmother, I'm just saying, it took her life pretty quickly, so just be pretty careful.
Yeah, I'm trying not to eat cakes for dinner now.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help you.
Bret Michaels, the CD from Poison, the best of Poison, 20 years of rock, featuring that new version of Grand Funk Railroad's We're an American Band, and the tour starts in June. Where's the tour kick off at?
We kick off in outside of Minneapolis in Mankato at the I believe it's Verizon Wireless Amphitheater, or no, Arena. We're at the Arena in Mankato, and we have 5 days there of rehearsal. Then we kick off the show, and then from there on out we go down to St. Louis and every place. I mean, there's not a place in the U.S. we're not hitting, and Canada, and then we're going to take a break at the beginning of September, and then I go out solo after that.
All right, thanks a lot, Bret.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Take care of your diabetes.
Thank you. You too. See you, Bret Michaels from Poison.
Nice job, Fezzy. Did you enjoy him?
Yeah, he didn't want to talk about wrestling as much as I thought he would.
Seems like a really good guy. Really, regular guy. Let's listen to a little Poison. We'll head towards break. It's the Ron Fez Show.